Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to the MemesteticA online program. I am Valentina Tanni and I am the curator of this series of online talks and conversations produced by Aksioma Institute for Contemporary Art in Ljubljana. MemesteticA is also part of a larger series called 𝗙𝗃 and Practice, and this is the 11th edition of 𝗙𝗃 and Practice. The MemesteticA program that accompanies the launch of the Slovenian edition of my book, which is also titled MemesteticA, explores the world of memes and participatory culture, and we are trying to focus on its relationship with contemporary visual art and with aesthetics in general. This is actually the last installment of the series, and today I have the pleasure to host Eva Franco Mattes. So welcome and thanks for accepting our invitation.
Hi, Valentina.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. But before we begin, I'm going to say a few words about you as an introduction for our audience. Eva and Franco Mattes are a duo of contemporary artists. They are originally from Italy, but they are based in New York City. And they have been investigating the internet's effects on society since the 90s, reflecting on how online communication and network images in particular reshape our private and also our social behavior. Their work that includes net art, software art, installations, sculpture and performance has been exhibited internationally in major museums, galleries and festivals all over the world. I invited them because they have been referring to internet memes multiple times in their projects, both in the past but also in most recent times, as you will see during this conversation. Today, Eva and Franco will deliver a short lecture about their most recent work, focusing on a few pieces that were born in response to the world of internet memes and viral images, and more in general about the circulation of images online. And they will also talk about their first monographic exhibition in a museum context, titled Dear Imaginary Audience, that just ended a few weeks ago at the photo museum 𝗰𝗃𝗃 in Switzerland. And after the lecture, I'm going to ask them a few questions about their artistic research, and we are going to have a little dialogue. So thank you again for being with us, and now I leave the floor to Eva and Franco.
Hi, Valentina, and hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for inviting us to this conversation. And thanks also to Janez and Marcela of Aksioma for making this happen. You guys always have such an amazing program in Ljubljana. Actually, we have a very special relationship with the city of Ljubljana because that's where one night in the mid-90s we met 𝗕𝗃𝗃, who coined the term net art to define the kind of things we and a few other artists were trying to do, and our life changed forever. The internet back then was an almost utopian place for us, but that will radically change over the following years, as we all know. This is our website, 0100111101010101.org. And this is our typical exhibition of ours looks like. The work is almost never in one single place. It's most likely scattered over different platforms and distribution system, including the artwork, galleries, museums, biennials, the surface internet, our website, social media, as well as more obscure places like a nuclear exclusion zone or the darknet. If I had to sum up in one sentence our work, I'd say it's about how information technology influences the way we relate with one another. We are interested in how people use the internet and how the internet uses people. And we try to respond to these issues with humor, although sometimes people think it's a bit too dark. We get a lot of inspiration from cultural phenomena that are specific to the internet, and we try to emphasize that aspect rather than the artist's own originality. We like to make explicit where works come from, where they go, and how fundamental the role of the viewer is in this process.
Speaking of viewers, 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗏 is a sculpture based on an old internet meme. It's a taxidermy cat peeking through a hole in the ceiling, always watching us, watching it. Attractive and scary at the same time, like the internet itself. 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗏 created to show it's not a photo, it's an object, a thing, a cat. A dead cat, to be precise, and yet we can't resist and smiling and taking photos of that little face. The sculpture is based on an image we found online, whose original photographer is still unknown. It's a very popular image that circulated virally and generated endless variations, becoming a meme. Memes are internet native images. They rely upon people's creativity to produce new versions by remaking, remixing, or imitating the original one. So a single image cannot be a meme, but a part of a meme, one manifestation of a group of images that together can be described as the meme. Here, for example, are a few versions of 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗏. Memes defy all art parameters. They are created collectively, they are anonymous, they spread virally beyond any control, and they are free. Within the ocean of memes, lolcats in particular are archetypical memes. Unlike other kind of memes, which started with a specific content, like one image or a video that became viral by being shared by millions, lolcats are more egalitarian, as there is usually not one single identified author, but more like a formula. And their popularity spreads quite evenly among numerous versions. People may share a certain image with others for many different reasons. But when they create their own version of it, they inevitably reveal their personal interpretation. Memes act as data tractors, aggregators of ideas, of feelings. They are the unconscious of the internet. They make me think to new forms of fables or myths, to a new and vital form of folk art. Already in the 1870s, photographer Harry Pointer took black and white photographs of cats posed in a variety of different situations, adding humorous text. Lolcats contributed to the discovery that information could spread virally on the internet. They are the naive, innocent genes that evolving mutated into many shapes, including the recent unfortunate far-right use as memes, as propaganda. The circulation of 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗏 peaked around 2008. So by internet time standards, it's an ancient meme, in slow decline, going towards oblivion. It's the stuff of digital archaeologists. Unless something happens and it catches momentum again. photos of our sculpture are now starting to circulate, becoming entangled with the other versions. So the work coexists in two different circulation systems, the art world and the internet, in constant negotiation between image and object. In this way, the ending of an exhibition marks another beginning for the image. A high-res image of the sculpture was released to public domain through Wikimedia. After the San Francisco MoMA acquired the work, we made an agreement with the museum to give up ownership of the photo so that anybody can copy it and use it for whatever purpose, free of charge. So you're all welcome to download it and use it. Like this person, for example, who is printing it on a dress and selling it for only 49 euros. Or this guy who made a Pokemon card. So just to be clear, we have nothing to do with these things. We just found them randomly.
Afcat is also a sculpture based on a lolcat meme called Afcat, 𝗙𝗵𝗃 or 𝗙𝗃𝗵. Don't ask me why. In the original image, a deformed cat with 2 legs and no ears walks down a street. And since its earliest appearance in 2010, it's been used in a variety of memes. At first, it was assumed that the strangely truncated image of the cat was the result of a technological error, maybe a Google Street View glitch or a panorama failed shot. Until users of online forums were able to track down the original image of the 4-legged cat with pointy ears, identifying its place of origin as Ottawa in Canada. The image was not, in fact, a glitch, but rather a man-made error simulating a machine error, implying that an accidental technological failure would be more appealing or would have more viral potential than a skillful Photoshop edit. Here you can spot it at Photo Museum in Switzerland, the exhibition Valentina mentioned before. Well, this might be a bit creepy, but the sculpture was actually the result of 3 different cats edited together by the taxidermist, Frankenstein style. So it is in itself a sort of analog collage, like the meme the work is based on. And this is a Google trend graph for Afcat from 2004 to present day. As you can see, even after all these years, it still has a pretty stable growth. Within the image attention economy, it's definitely a good investment. As opposed to 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗏, the red line in this graph, which has evidently already peaked. As an artist, you cannot compete with the internet, with that super fast, always changing flux of images and ideas and stimuli. It's pointless to try and recreate that velocity, that energy. What we can do is to carefully select a few things, artifacts, formats, images, videos, whatever really, and isolate them from the rest to produce a moment of reflection about these processes, to be able to see them from the outside, even if only for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this talk. I would have love to visit the exhibition. As you know, I have a special attachment to the Afcat myself because I chose that same image for the cover of my book. And we did it approximately in the same time without knowing of each other's project. So it was really funny to discover it later. So I would have loved to come, but unfortunately the pandemic stopped me. So thank you again. And I would like to ask you a few questions. And the first one is actually a kind of ritual question for the MemesteticA series. In fact, as you might have noticed, I asked a similar question to all our guests during the series. And I would like you to tell us something about the origin of your interest in internet memes. You already answered partially to this question during the talk, but if you can expand a little bit on this subject, what was about memes that sparked your interest as contemporary artist, and when? Do you remember when did it happen?
Yeah, I think we discovered meme culture definitely through 4chan. That was our entry point. Sometimes in the mid-2000s. The internet back then was going through a big shift. It went from being the reign of hackers and hacker culture, think open source, infiltrating systems in order to understand them, attacking systems to test their security, information wants to be free and all that, to becoming a mass medium. The Eternal September you talk about in your book. So no longer the reign of geeks and nerds and academics, but a place for really anybody. It became much easier to use, to participate in it. You could hook up to the internet without having to learn how to configure a modem. You could publish a video without understanding FTP or whatever. So this lowered the entry point. It's democratized the medium. And meme culture came out of that deprofessionalization, in a sense. Olia Yalina calls it digital folklore. I guess it's the good side effect of the massification of the medium.
Yeah, so you were interested in this opening of the field of participation in the context of the internet, right? Yeah. And question two, when you created 𝗘𝗃, which is a previous work of yours you made in 2010, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe that was your first meme sculpture. Am I correct? The first time you actually decided to materialize that kind of image as an object. And when you created 𝗘𝗃, you decided to falsely attribute the work to a very well-known contemporary artist, Maurizio Cattelan. And what I would like to ask you is, was that just a comment on Cattelan's very well-known practice of stealing images, of taking inspiration from the world of viral images online? Or did you also mean to highlight the rise of a certain similarity, a certain weird similarity between contemporary visual art and online content that is anonymously produced, so not professionally produced by contemporary artists? So if you can answer this question, and also maybe if you can tell us a little bit about the reactions to that work from the audience at the time.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it was in fact the first time we tried to turn a meme into a sculpture.
Franco was not convinced.
We'll see. Maybe you have
I thought something a minute ago and then reminded me that we did a fail attempt before that, which I completely forgot until recently. But
well, maybe we talk about it later.
Okay.
Maybe never.
Or maybe never, since it's failed. Well, 𝗘𝗃 with two T's was in fact born as a sculptural recreation of an internet meme, fake cat meme. And it's a an angry looking cat imprisoned in a bird cage, while a free yellow canary is perched atop and is looking down at him. When we visited the taxidermist to have it produced, we found out it was the same craftsman who made Catalan's works, like his taxidermy sculptures. And so we decided to give it a twist and to attribute it to Catalan. So the piece was exhibited as Catalan's, and the reactions were very, very positive. People were saying things like, "Oh, it's tragic and comic at the same time. Catalan's ironical anti-authoritarian approach stands out," like things like this. And collectors were interested. They really wanted to buy the piece. And halfway through the exhibition, we decided we had to claim it as our own. And so this is an image of it, so you can get a sense.
That's the original one.
This is the original image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is our version.
And these images went viral itself later, right?
Yes, it was appropriated a few times by other people who wanted to use in their own memes. Anyway, through the exhibition, we claimed it as our own sculpture, and we revealed the original image it originated. And what was the reaction? The price dropped.
Yeah. that's not a surprise. And did you receive some comment from Catalan himself?
Yeah, he was a gentleman. He sent an email saying something like siete troppo avanti. It was in Italian.
You are
ragazzi, siete troppo avanti.
Too much ahead of your time.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it seems. Yeah, it resonates with his style. Yeah. I think that he, knowing his work and his research, I think that he got, the meaning of all the project. Kind of immediately. I think that probably it was very funny for him to see you do that kind of action. A final question that I would like to ask you, and you partially answered to this also in the talk, but I'm very, very interested in this topic, so I would like to talk about it a little more. And because as you mentioned, we live in a world where millions of people are producing images and creative content on a daily basis online. And so I would like you to tell us a little bit more, what do you think can be your personal role as contemporary artists in this, on the backdrop of this new unregulated system of content production, and also if you see some changes going on in the contemporary art system in reaction to this new situation, or if you see just a defensive reaction to this, so just closing the doors and acting like nothing is happening outside, or if you see that this new situation is triggering some changes in the art system from your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like we mentioned earlier, as artists, you cannot compete with the internet, right? It's too fast and too amazing for any artist to keep up with. What we can do, though, is to isolate a piece of it from this flow and produce a moment and maybe a space of reflection about these processes. Times is also important. You know, memes are usually dealt with in a very fast way. They are produced and consumed at great speed, and everyone is out there looking for the next thing, you know, the freshest meme. It's a very exciting phenomenon to look at for me. But as artists, I don't feel the pressure to participate in this race. On the contrary, we like to focus on old memes, actually, that would be probably completely forgotten by now. I think art is a good medium for that, for saving something from being forgotten.
Yeah. And what about the art world? Do you see different reactions to this situation, or I don't know, what from your point of observation, I mean, among artists, but also among, I don't know, curators or museum directors, galleries, are they feeling threatened, just threatened by this new situation, or are they curious? I don't know.
Well, not the good ones. The good ones always
okay.
They are good surfers. They don't get threatened by waves. They surf them and they catch them. I think it's changing slowly, but definitely changing simply with the demographic. As people grow older, so people that were, you know, kids 10 years ago now are getting the position of curating shows or writing for magazines or being artists, and therefore it's a kind of a, you know, generational gap that's getting like smaller and smaller. When we started, this was a huge problem. In the mid-90s, there was literally probably not one single curator in the world that we could talk to about what we were doing. Even very few artists, to be honest. So in order to even just start a conversation, you had to fill up so much gap that, you know, all your time went into explaining what a browser is, what a server is, what the internet is, how it works, what emails are. It's like, it was so...
I can remember that very well because I was there. We actually know each other, like, I don't know, since 20 years or something. So yeah, I can remember that situation quite well.
You're one of the few dinosaur remembering that era.
I feel very old.
We were talking with a primary school teacher a couple of nights ago, and she mentioned, like, she asks her students, what do you do in the morning before coming to school? And one of the kids told her, I watch my breakfast memes.
Wow.
So we're waiting for this generation to curate shows.
Taking over.
That's cute, breakfast memes. I like it. It could be also a very funny title for a show, breakfast memes.
That's what I thought. It's up to you, Valentina.
I'm gonna write it down, and think about it. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a real pleasure to see you again, to talk with you. We haven't talked in a long time, and thanks for accepting our invitation to this series of talks, and I'm very happy to have you. So, and also I would like to thank our audience for joining in, for following all our talks online. This is the last one, so I'm going to get a little bit emotional. But yeah, thank you very much. Hope to get a new occasion to talk about this stuff soon, very soon. Bye.
Thank you, Valentina. Bye.